Hey Agaho, welcome to week 5 of the GBA. This week the Utah Jasmine welcoming in the San Jose Sharpedos, who of late have kind of been bitten by the DC bug. So we're certainly hoping to have a nice clean game here, if nothing else. And the Sharpedos coming in at 3-1. We picked up our first win of our GBA career last week against the Grambles, so we got opposite records, a little bit further behind in differential. I believe the Sharpedos' only loss coming after a DC, actually, kind of killing their momentum. Frazzled their head coach Tom there. And yeah, not appearing on your screen here, we have Arcanine, Ferrothorn, Hydreigon, Blissey, and Starmie. Blissey actually was on the Grambles roster last week, so that's what I should have been prepared for instead of Florges. Trades do actually do not go through until after a Saturday to Sunday transition has passed. So that's 2 weeks in a row I needed to be prepared for Blissey, and of course neither week it actually got brought. So anyway, what is appearing in this battle is regular Scizor, Mega Charizard Y, Swampert, Mandibuzz, Black Kyurem, and last week we faced Latios. This week it's the sister, Latias. So one of the things this week you'll notice some of the things I named off. He's got 2 defoggers that he brought, and he's also got Starmie, which is still, one of, if not the best spinners in the game. So there's kind of a question of, do I really want to bother, fighting the Hazard War and bringing Stealth Rock on Chansey, because that could be a pretty valuable move slot to get back if we just don't want to bring Stealth Rock at all. In the end, I decided, he's got Megazord Y. I can't just let myself be completely deterred from this. Black Kyurem's also weak to Stealth Rock. Mandibuzz also weak to Stealth Rock if it needs to come in and defog. So ultimately, I did decide to just keep the same Chansey moveset. Anyway, here's the rest of the team. Zapdos is Sub Roost. I didn't really want to run Sub, but the other option, I guess, was HP Grass, but I actually didn't have a Zapdos available to go catch at the time. And on top of that, it was really just for Swampert, and it didn't improve the coverage that much. So ultimately, I decided to go with Subroost. Suicune was the 6th poke I added to this team, so, not really expecting too much out of it. Usually it's going to be the first fodder. Just decided to go with Roar in case, something starts to set up, stuff starts getting out of hand. And Scald for cheeky burns, Ice Beam for cheeky freezes, etc., etc. Thought about running a more interesting Suicune set this week, but I decided I was going to hold off on it at least until later. We do face him again later in the season, so I don't want to go too in depth on these sets too much, since we might bring some of the same stuff and certainly change it up some as well. Chansey running the same set. We just dropped the speed EVs, put him back into bulk since there's nothing really around her speed tier. And Whimsicott just running Life Orb as we have in the past. It's going to be pretty solid against Black Kyurem, Hydreigon, even Latias, I believe, has a chance to get one-shotted by Life Orb Moonblast, so that's pretty nice. Yeah, Hitmontop, running Technotop. I really like that Mach Punch on Black Kyurem, shaving off some HP. Close Combat's going to be on there just in case he did want to bring Blissey, which I thought, I wasn't going to over-prepare for Bliss because, I got 2 fighting types. He might just not want to bring it. So there's that. And then Magneton getting his first action at the GBA, I believe, ever. We've got Scizor and Ferrothorn, both of whom are 4x weak to fire. We are, of course, going to be running HP Fire. We're not going to be like Fizzy Stardust and have the wrong hidden power, which I believe cost him the game last week. But we're going to be attempting to Magnet Pull and trap those 2 things. Scizor's got U-turn, but maybe we can drop it in after it kills something and pick up the revenge kill that way. But yeah, so Magneton's going to see some action, and that's going to be it. Let's get into the game. Alright, let's get it underway. Last 2 weeks, I've actually had a pre-programmed lead, which was Hitmontop against Boston, and then Mega Alakazam against Chicago. This week, not having a predetermined league, so I just go with the thing that I think is going to be able to, not put me in a really bad spot on the first turn, which is going to be Hitmontop once again. And we're up against Zard Y on the first turn, and this could go a couple different ways, depending on what moves he has, depending on whether or not I have Assault Vest. I do not, I have Leftovers. And yeah, Air Slash could certainly wreck me, probably even with Assault Vest. If he's got Flamethrower versus Fire Blast, all sorts of stuff. Ultimately, I've just got 2 fighting attacks and then Thief to cover Latias, do some decent damage to it. And actually do around about 75%, I believe, if it's not that bulky. But ultimately, I just decide Toxic's what I'm going to go with. And he, of course, becomes Mega. You have to become Mega if you stay in the GBA, and he actually reveals he has Flamethrower, so probably does not carry Fire Blast as well. So that's very good information to know. That means that Chansey is only going to take maybe like 33% from that, even in the sun, which is, yeah, it kind of speaks to Chansey's special bulk in case anyone didn't already know. But anyway, so we land Toxic on there. I put Toxic on this thing mostly because I figured, he might want to switch in his physical physically stalwart guys such as Swampert or Mandibuzz into it. So, you know, I figured that would be a good thing to get those two things toxic. But now since Zard Y is toxic, I know that Chansey is going to be able to beat it. He didn't bring a Cleric, so I think it's going to be poison for the rest of the match. Unfortunately, I won't be able to T-Wave it, but, you know, I can just sit in here all day with Chansey and take, you know, not enough damage from its flamethrowers and just proceed to wait until it toxics itself to death. You know, it could pack Roost, so if it just comes in intermittently, it could be a problem. But if it comes down to one-on-one, then I know I'm going to be straight up with this matchup right here. And, you know, it'd be nice to set up Stealth Rock right here, but Mandibuzz is still around. So I just decided to go for a T-Wave, mostly fearing Latias with Calm Mind. Was actually probably the #1 thing I was afraid of. But any kind of, you know, powerful physical attacker, maybe a Scizor, you know, not going to be able to get that paralyzed, or not going to be able to get that poisoned. So I may as well get some kind of status on it if we can. But he makes the right play, goes into Swampert, which is his only thing available to dodge a T-Wave. So good play there. And, you know, I could honestly stay in here. I guess I'm mostly afraid if it's going to be Curse Pert. That's going to be what I'd be mostly afraid of, although I probably should go ahead and scout for that. We do have Roar on Suicune, which we can go into, and even at +1, Earthquake's not going to do too much to Suicune, I don't think. But anyway, we're just going to go ahead and be proactive, go into it now, and wants to set up a sub. So I believe Swampert's got enough HP that, you know, even at level 50, it's a little bit magnified, too. Even the base 99 guys are able to make 101 subs, or I guess 51 subs, as the case is now. And yeah, Swampert's got that base 100 HP, so potentially might be a 51 HP subber here to make sure it can live 2 seismic tosses. But Suicune's not going to have any of that, and since he went ahead and did damage there with to himself with sub, I'm just going to roar him out, and drops in Latias into Suicune, so that's something to keep in mind. But I just roar him out in case he didn't want to switch and you know, use a sub to fire off an Earthquake, something like that. But he actually just straight out switched with the sub, so he must not be very confident in the Swampert versus Suicune matchup, certainly. So anyway, Mandibuzz is in here now, and I'm just going to go Ice Beam first off and kind of gauge how much damage it's going to do. Not expecting it to do too much, of course. Mandibuzz is really, really bulky on both sides, regardless of where the EVs are. But now that I, you know, got a little bit of damage on there, and, you know, revealed that, hey, I do have Ice Beam, just so you know, maybe don't be bringing in the Latias too cheekily, I suppose. Although with Calm Mind, it's going to certainly be able to take enough, barring some freeze hacks. But here we're just going to, I did put, I think, either 4, 8, or 12, somewhere along those lines. I don't know if I have a 30 speed IV or not for Hidden Power. But, yeah, so we go Scald, some EVs to outspeed Mandibuzz, and we do pick up the nice burn there, and it works out perfectly as he actually reveals Brave Bird. So that's going to certainly lessen that damage. You know, Mandibuzz not the most physically attackive thing to begin with, and with a burn, certainly not. So don't really think he's going to stay in here too long. Might want to stay in one turn to pull a Roost and get some hit points back, as he's not taking too much from my actual attacks. But I'm going to go ahead and get out of here in case he does want to do that, and go into Zapdos, which is probably going to be my best option to kill it with direct damage. You know, getting it burned does mean that we won't be able to get it toxic later, which is kind of a drag. But, you know, I am going to certainly expect him to have Roost. Probably Knock Off. He's shown Brave Bird, probably Roost, and I would imagine Defog, just my guess. But however, he makes a great double switch and brings in Latias, and Zapdos can't do anything to this thing. I decided not to bring Hidden Power Ice. I figured, you know, it's 60 base power, it's not stab. Latias has a ton of special defense. It's nice. That's nice that it's super effective, but honestly, I'd rather, if I'm gonna attack it, I think I'd rather just sling discharges at it and try to get paras. So, but I don't actually want to attack it regardless. Probably worst case is if it's going to be Trick would be pretty bad. Calm Mind would be probably worse, and it does reveal Calm Mind, so at least I'm, you know, mentally prepared for it. But it's definitely going to be the toughest thing to go up against, as Psyshock's going to be able to do a good amount. I definitely want this thing slow, so that at least we can come in, you know, potentially hit him on top. If we can get some damage on it, can come in with Thief, maybe later. Anyway, go ahead and get it T-Waved, and that's nice. Again, no Cleric, so that's going to stick. And yeah, it's Psyshock does about half with the +1. So we got to get out of here now, and we could try to stay in, you know, soft-boiled and go for the Parahacks. I don't really want to go for that just yet. You know, it's still too early at 6-6. We do also have a Pseudo Hazer left in the form of Suicune, and you know, we can bring him in if we can get a Roar off, you know, maybe get a Parahacks, which I might need because I don't know if Psyshock with 2 at KO. I did lose my leftovers. So some survivability is certainly gone. I'm also missing a couple hit points. So taking it down to the wire as usual in the single digits. But Kuhn's going to come in, and he's going to play into Roar. See how much the Psyshock does. I got 50 HP, and looks like that did... what was that? We'll actually do that. 61 damage, so we're definitely comfortably above that. I believe this is max bold. I don't know if he's going to have... he could certainly have something like Thunderbolt. I'm pretty sure he gets Thunderbolt. Could be wrong. I haven't seen too many Latias since it was Uber for most of the fourth. But anyway... he just Psyshocks again, and we're able to roar it out. So Suicune's pretty much useless, but got rid of that Calm Mind, and now it's going to be paralyzed coming in. So some advantage has been gained on the Latias anyway. Calm Mind has been eradicated, and paralysis is still on there. So anyway, the roar drags out Black Kyurem, and this Suicune is basically going to be useless. He was the 6th member of the team anyway, so he was kind of already the first fodder. Already gave me a nice pseudo haze on that potentially scary Latias, so he's certainly done his job. And give me a little bit of information about this Black Kyurem. See if it's Life Orb or anything like that. Looks like it's not. It does carry Earth Power, so at the very least it's going to be mixed and not full physical, which is kind of nice. That means Blissey or Chansey is probably going to be a little bit more okay against it. It could just be running Earth Power. Actually, what would that? I guess that might hit Magneton. A couple of things I have that are weak to ground. But anyway, so think about what to drop in here. Chansey is at 50%, which is, I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, I'd like to keep it at about 70%, so we can always switch into Mega Charizard. It takes about, 33% or so from that Flamethrower, so I'd like to be able to switch it in, eat another hit, and then Soft Boil back up. But right here, I know, I think Whimsicott's probably going to be a good thing to get in, but Black Kyurem's got that 125 base HP, so it's not frail enough to get the one-shot with Moonblast. So we just sack off Top Man at the expense of some nice damage on there. Got about 50%, so that's nice. And we see the held item leftover, so now we know it's not Scarfed, and that's definitely big information to have. Go ahead and drop in Whimsicott. Even if it was Scarfed, that would be okay, because, of course, Whimsicott resists ground. Still wouldn't enjoy it off, a considerable special attack stat. Not the higher of the two, but still considerable. And yeah, we're just going to make the obvious play here, go for Moonblast. I don't want to mess around with Black Kyurem. Certainly full well aware that his best play is going to be Scizor. But, if he makes that, then I guess we can try to trap it in there with Magneton and see what we got going on. He does make the right play, goes into Scizor, gets the pointless special attack drop, of course. And a couple of things can happen here. Pursuit's not too likely, as Fairy does resist Dark. I would think probably U-turn is most likely. Of course, he did see Magneton on the preview. That's one of the advantages of Team Preview. So I'm really just expecting a nice U-turn there. Magneton will, of course, resist it, but then, he's certainly got things he can go into to deal with it. So just in case he does want to go Bullet Punch, though, I am going to go ahead and make that Magneton switch and just hope he goes Bullet Punch. Potentially also be Choice Banded onto it, and took a little bit of damage from that Moonblast, and I believe HP Fire is going to be a one-shot anyway. So thankfully, he does go for Bullet Punch, and I see no items, so I'm just going to assume it's Choice Banded. That was actually the main set I was afraid of, and we're not going to play any games here. It's a quick decision. He can't really do anything except potentially Bullet Punch for some extra damage, which looks like he didn't do, so I guess he wasn't banded, actually. And yeah, just a quick HP Fire to finish that thing off. This Magneton is, again, Scarfed. If we can actually get it in against Zard Y when we have T-Bolt around, I think it can actually come very close. Definitely after, Zard Y's taking some poison damage. And just T-Bolt and get rid of Zard Y. But Swampert's still hanging around, so locking myself onto an electric attack is not going to be a good idea. He's got a couple things he can go into here. Chief among them being Zard Y, which is going to... certainly, it could very well be Eviolite, 70 base speed versus Scizor is 60, but even with Eviolite, I don't think Magneton's going to be taking this Flamethrower, so I do have to be Scarfed, and, we do have the Sun Boost, I guess, going on with HP Fire, but I'm not really interested in trading Magneton for some additional damage on that Zard Y, especially when it still has the potential to have Roost. That's just not a very smart play to make. Unfortunately, again, Chansey is not at that 70% or so hit points that I want her to be at to just make sure she can come in and counter Zard Y, which is really unfortunate. And it means we're going to have to, looks like, sack off really, at this point, I believe it was either sack off Magneton or sack off Dose. I decided that because of the Scarf, Magneton's going to be a little bit more valuable. It does have Flash Cannon to deal with the Black Kyurem, since that's not going to be Scarfed, and might be able to take it out from the range it's at. And that would also at least hit Latias for neutral damage. It's also got Volt Switch going on. But yeah, basically, unfortunately, round 1 pick again, just kind of taking one for the team. Being a team player, coming in and providing some death fodder, getting some more toxic damage on that Zard Y. And now that it doesn't have to take a hit coming in, now I can drop in Chansey, and we're just going to certainly soft boil back up to full health, fully expecting him to withdraw out to somebody, not really sure who. You know, his premier physical attacker, well, I guess the premier physical attacker, Scizor, has been taken out by the Magneton Trap. You know, Black Kyurem's still over here saying, hey, I have base 170 attack, guys. I have an Outrage, which does actually only about 50% or so to Eviolite Chansey. But certainly still trying to avoid knockoff, so Mandibuzz is still a problematic thing here. I've lost Suicune and Zapdos, both of whom were probably the two guys who are, you know, I'm most okay with taking a knockoff, since they lose their lefties, but they still have considerable physical bulk. So this thing's burned, but no way in heck am I gonna let Chansey lose that Eviolite. That's way too valuable. We only have 3 guys left up against 5, but I definitely don't feel out of it just yet. And we're going to go into Whimsicott here, I believe, as it's going to resist knockoff, which is, you know, definitely predicted, of course. And it's going to knock off my Life Orb, which is certainly going to lessen my damage output, but it also means I'm not going to be killing myself quite as fast, so that's nice. After some lefties and some burn, he's down to under half. And, you know, I don't really know how much bulk he's got where. That could definitely affect some stuff, but I'm just definitely going to go for Moonblast. Hope it takes it out. Unfortunately, it lives with a sliver of health, and that's enough for it to get a nice critical hit Brave Bird off, which I saw the crit and I was shocked that Whimsicott lived, and then I remembered that Mandibuzz was burned, so yeah. Anyway, crit I'm pretty sure does not pierce burn, so yeah. Anyway, let's see, Zard Y is going to be the obvious play to go into here, I believe, as it's going to resist Moonblast as well as Giga Drain. And those are the only 2 attacking moves I actually decided to bring this week. We got another wrinkle here, but I'm not going to reveal what it is just yet. And yep, there in comes the Zard Y. And yeah, so we got Magneton, Chansey, and this thing, Whimsicott, left. This time, however, Chansey is at full hit points, so I feel okay bringing it in. And you know, the Mandibuzz is now gone, so the knockoff threat has been removed. He just flamethrowers, gets some more toxic damage, cool stuff. And, you know, we're still at decently usable hit points. And I think at this point, just in case he does want to pull a Roost or something, maybe something else wants to come in, you know, I've already T-Waved Latias, Black Kyurem. I'm at enough hit points that I can take a hit. As we've confirmed, it's not choice banded. Take a hit, T-Wave it, and go from there. So Seismic Toss is going to be the best thing to go for here. I don't really need to heal up at this amount of hit points, as anything that comes in is either going to be non-threatening, or I can slow it, or it's already slow. Which is going to be this Latias, and get ready, because this is going to be the key matchup, as I believe we're going to speed this up a little bit. So, here's this Latias. It's got Calm Mind, and at this point, I already read this situation. It's going to come down to some Parahacks. You know, getting a Parahacks at a crucial turn. So here comes a Seismic Toss. He's just going to go ahead and go for a unboosted Psyshock, see how much it does. Knocks me down to half. Certainly going to favor survivability at this point, and just soft boil back up and then see what he wants to do. I'm making some quick decisions here. There's a crucial para right there, and that's going to allow me to get back up to full. And now we're going to S-Toss, and he reveals Roost. So he's going to be able to restore HP, so that definitely changes this dynamic. Now he's going to be able to restore, and yeah, like I said, it's going to come down to a series of Parahacks. How many can we get? Also, the timing of these Parahacks is going to be crucial. He does pull a Calm Mind right here. One of the things coming out of this is I do want to make sure that I leave myself with at least 50% HP, maybe even, you know, I ideally about 60% or so, but we'll see how that has to happen. You know, to take any one hit, potentially from Black Kyurem, and +1 Psyshock starts to hurt a little bit more. Right here, if I can get a Parahacks on this turn, we're going to be good to go. You know, it's going to knock it down. Looks like it's going to be a 2-shot from there with Seismic Toss. And I am at just barely enough hit points that I'm going to be able to live a Black Kyurem, but nope. It's going to get another roost off, and from there it's going to be 3 more, and he's going to have more chances to boost up more chances to roost. There's a Psyshock. Now I'm low enough that, once again, if I come out of this, if I kill this Latias and I've got under 50% HP, there's a good chance Black Kyurem can just come in and kill Chansey, and if Chansey goes down, Chansey is going to be pretty solid against everything after this, so I need Chansey to come out of this exchange with above 50%, ideally above 60% or so, just to be safe. But yeah, this Latias, man, it is a trooper. I think it ends up, it's gotten, maybe 1 paralysis so far. There's a Psyshock. Once again, well, this turn I'm probably going to go for Soft Boiled. If it gets parried on this turn, I could take advantage of that with consecutive Seismic Tosses, but again, I've got to get hit points back and be at above 50% in order to close out and actually win the game. Just killing Latias doesn't matter if I'm just going to proceed to get swept by Black Kyurem. Whimsicott will be able to kill Black Kyurem, but yeah, Mega Charizard switches and whatnot, it's got, it's not going to be a good time. So ultimately, though, I just decide we're just going to Seismic Toss. I need to try to get this thing dead. I'm going to die to another Psyshock, looks like. And there you go. If you want to know if you weren't counting, I certainly was. If I didn't count wrong, that was 1 Parahax out of 12 turns, which I believe was like a 4.2% chance. What a trooper, this Latias over here, I tell ya. It's got the fire, it's got the desire to take this team to the championship, and putting the team on its back, but Whimsicott is able to come in despite the +2 and not having Life Orb. It's still strong enough to take out the Latias at about 45 or whatever percent HP that was. So Whimsicott able to pick up the revenge kill on the Latias and make the game a little bit closer. But can't say enough about that Latias' effort, man. Fighting through all those paras, knowing that this is the game right here. I do feel like Chansey would be able to certainly handle this toxic Mega Charizard, and I'm not sure what Swampert would have been able to do to it, and I'm pretty sure it could have T-waved, and barring potentially like a Hone Claws or something set off Black Kyurem or some lots of crits, I think Chansey would have been able to potentially just stall out the rest of the team. I go ahead and sack off Magneton there, just on the off chance that, Toxic does enough to where this Moonblast, which of course is not going to kill remotely close, just in case by some, happenstance, I got the legendary Uber crit, killed this Megazord, and I think Whimsy would actually be straight against Black Kyurem and Swampert, but that is how it goes down. So yeah, it's gonna be another 3-0 loss, but I can't feel too bad. That Latias, I told him make sure to buy that Latias a steak or whatever it is Latias likes to eat after the game. Certainly gonna get Pokemon of the game from me. Totally shut down Zapdos and Magneton, which I was aware of certainly, but yeah, certainly that 1 full para out of the 12 turns. Fantastic effort by the Poke. That's something you can't necessarily coach, and it just had the will to get it done. So yeah, we're gonna fall to 1-4, back to a -9 differential, and playoffs is certainly each week looking more and more out of the picture. But right now we're just concentrating on trying to finish with a good season. Ideally we like to finish with a winning record. And another thing, this match, I don't know if I mentioned this before, we do play him again, I believe, in week 11. So a lot of this game, I really wasn't sure. I was very unsure of this team bringing it in, and that it came down to Latias just having that will and powering through all those Parahaxes. I don't feel like that was necessarily an awfully played game. So picking up some information for that week 11 game, maybe we can get some payback in week 11. It's gonna be a lot of games until then, though. But looking forward to next week. We play what is considered to be the most stacked team in the league. Not necessarily the most winning team in the league, but definitely I think the most OU pokes, which is the New Orleans Pelipers, coached by Pokemon or John. So that's definitely going to be a tough matchup. He's got a lot of powerhouse guys for us to prepare for, but we'll see what we can do about it. So make sure you stay tuned for that one. And as always, certainly go around, check out the new GBA website if I didn't plug that last week. I think I did because Kyle made it. It's got links to all the games, everything you'd really ever want to find out. And watching the GBA, you can just kind of pull that up, and as soon as the games get posted, they're all on the website. You can just click and view them at your discretion. So definitely go and check out all the rest of the games, and see you guys next week versus Nyalans, y'all. Later days.